Will the real Ernie Almonte please check in to the studio? I don't know what he's going to be doing by Election Day. First he was running for governor as a Democrat, then he was running for treasurer as a Democrat, now he's running for treasurer as an independent. He's hard to follow, but he's a smart guy, and we'll pick his brain and try to figure out what his strategies are tonight on the broadcast. Great to have you in. Welcome to my State of Mind. I am Dan York. Lots on our mind here today, so let us check out that state. Yeah, the Eddie Haskell of politics is the new sheriff in town, and now his opponent in the lieutenant gubernatorial race is calling him out and telling him to step down from the project that he is on. I'm moving quick here tonight. Kneecap is a disaster, and the diplomacy by the Ed Commissioner is understandable but disappointing to me. The worst president ever. Guess who the Quinnipiac poll says it is? Lots of scripts being issued by doctors. We're leading the league here, and nuts. We're out of the World Cup, right? Let's go to the videotape and all the stuff that we have and run this baby down. Yeah, the new sheriff is Ernie Almonte. Here's the headline at WPRI.com is Tim White is chasing down Michael Corso. He's the linchpin guy on 38 Studios. He's the transactor. He's the guy who makes it all happen. He's the guy who has numerous contracts for all sorts of stuff, 38 Studios wise, and Tim White kind of nailed all that, brought it to Ralph Mollis, the Secretary of State, saying, by the way, we got this contract for $300,000 that says he'll move these guys at 38 Studios into government relationships. That's called lobbying, in case you were scoring at home. And while Tim brought this to the Secretary of State weeks ago, and he went, blah, 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 and goes, oh, geez, maybe I should pay attention to this. Here's the latest on it.
The hearing was postponed. Attorneys for a key player in the 38 Studios deal asking for more time. That was granted, but lawyers for the state say they want this done as soon as possible. As part of a probe into potential lobbying violations in the 38 Studios deal, Secretary of State Ralph Mollis says his office will argue Providence attorney Michael Corso, seen here in Target 12 video, violated the state's lobbying laws 4 times with his involvement in Kurt Schilling's video game company.
We're going to make an argument that there have been a lot of media reports and potential contracts that show that Mr. Corso may have functioned as a lobbyist, and by that, he should have filed with our office.
Mollis is referring to this contract unearthed by Target 12, which shows Corso was paid $300,000 to interact with government officials.
No comment, Tim.
In a letter to the Secretary of State, Corso's attorneys denied he violated the lobbying laws, but, citing a scheduling conflict, asked for a new hearing date to present their defense.
You'll file a copy of that.
Louis DeSimone was appointed by the Secretary of State as the hearing officer for the probe. He says Corso does not have to testify.
Certainly, if he's here, he may provide whatever statement or evidence he chooses.
John Marion from Common Cause Rhode Island says it's been about 20 years since a lobby violation hearing has taken place in the state.
We saw Kurt Schilling go to an EDC board meeting, and we're told that he was asking for further time and money. That, to me, meets the definition of lobbying.
Failure to register can come with a $2,000 fine and can lead to a criminal investigation by the Attorney General's office. The Corso hearing has been moved to July 11th. Now, Mollis tells me he expects to schedule more hearings with other players from 38 Studios in the coming months.
By the way, it just tells me that I had said Secretary of State Ernie Almonte. I got Almonte on the brain. Poor Ernie's in the green room, the red room, the blue room, whatever room, the popcorn room, going, don't blame me for that one. It's Ralph Mollis I was talking about, obviously. This summer cold has gotten to me. Anyway, great piece by Tim. It's all been Tim's work that's brought this to the table. And now, the new sheriff, Ralph Mollis, he's going to look like he's really paying attention to this whole thing. He's like the Eddie Haskell of politics. He really is. Yes, Mrs. Cleaver, I was always paying attention to this. Yes, Mrs. Cleaver, I'm going to get accountability here. Yes, Mrs. Cleaver, I'm going to run a hearing and hire, oh, for God's sake. Well, his opponent in lieutenant governor's race is saying, you know what, not so fast, Sheriff. It's Dan McKee, the Cumberland mayor and lieutenant gubernatorial candidate, who penned off this letter today and had a mini press conference outside of Mollis's office at the State House today. Here was the letter that he sent to Mollis, and let me read it for you. Section 1 says, on behalf of the people of Rhode Island, I am requesting that you step down from your oversight role in the 38 studio hearings that your office is conducting. Paragraph 2. My reasoning for this request is very clear. Your office declined to look into the lobbying years ago when it was obvious that the studios had engaged in strong lobbying effort. Those actions enabled Mr. Corso and others to conceal the true nature of their involvement in the Job Creation Guarantee Program. This state deserves a fully independent investigation that includes a review of you. And the final part of this whole thing, please do what's right. Step down from the investigation and allow the state to retain a truly independent counsel, an objective professional, not hired by your office, who is not a State House insider. It's a great letter by Dan McKee, and it should be followed. It won't be, because he's in the middle of a campaign, and no one else is going to step up and say the same thing. And Eddie Haskell will just say, oh, that's just politics. Stay tuned, though. Next week could be very interesting. All righty, let us move on, sing a song, and take on the next issue of the day. And it's simply this kneecap disaster. Here's the headline in the Providence Journal today. Finally, the kneecap delay will go into effect because our gutless governor decided to just let the General Assembly's passage of a bill to upend the kneecap at the 12th hour of 12. He let it go. Deb Giss, the Ed Commissioner, had a media availability today, and she said, I guess, the right things.
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that I testified numerous times in opposition to these bills, so I'm disappointed that we've decided to postpone. I think it would be disingenuous for me to say otherwise. At the same time, I am really pleased that the bill was explicit about making sure that we are using this information to identify where our students need help.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's been some growth from all the pressure of the kneecap. The kneecap was going to be out this year, and a Common Core test was going to come in. But for the legislature to, I've told you this before, at the last minute to pull the rug right out from under the entire curriculum process was outrageous. A bunch of people who can barely, do the alphabet telling educators how they ought to teach the kids. And House Speaker Nick Mattiello, using some slightly disabled child in Barrington who missed the kneecap by this much and couldn't get a waiver. What's up with that? As his foil in all of this is a disgrace. The whole thing is a disgrace, and I wish she was more angry. I get a chance to talk to her nose to nose on this tomorrow because she is my invited guest and she's accepted. Deb Giss will be here tomorrow night on Dan York's State of Mind. Somebody's got to get angry. Next. I guess the people are angry at this president. Here's the headline out of the Quinnipiac poll. They run these polls like every quarter. So they asked the question, who's the best, who's the worst? By the way, Ronald Reagan got the best. And President Obama got the worst. Can you believe it? Yeah, he got 33% saying he's the worst. Our last President Bush got 28%. And you know what? Nixon was third at 13%. That's the halo effect, man. We only remember the good stuff about people, which is kind of human nature. These polls always get skewed because when we're angry with the guy who's in office, oh, by the way, a lot of them are wishing for Mitt Romney. Of course, it breaks down pretty split on parties anyway. But President Obama is getting the heat because right now he's in the kitchen. So you got to take these polls with a grain of salt. But I'm sure when he woke up and found out since World War II, people think he's the worst. That'll ruin your breakfast. What else do we have here today? Yeah, lots of scripts. Really quick, just wanted to mention this. The Projo headline has this information. The use of prescriptions, highest, for sedatives, or fourth highest in the nation. We're also very strong. Here's a map, and you take out your glasses, you can read it. If you look up in the far right corner based on the graph, we are tied with, I believe it is New Hampshire or Maine. Thank you, Jess. Maine for the highest issuance of painkillers in New England, and we're fourth in the country in sedatives, which means that the legal drug pushers, well-meaning I'm sure, the doctors, better get their collective medical conversation together and stop pushing the pills so much. We're pretty drugged up here, and we got to be careful about that. And finally, what a bummer, huh? We thought we were going all the way. Really? Did you think so? Piece by Mark. They're all Germans. Well, what? White House pausing to watch the game. They're German. Well, not all of them, but most of the players. And then we got a German coach. Everyone's going through the motions on this World Cup thing, like, oh, America, America. Now, listen, if it raises the level of soccer, which is a great game, just stop the clock. If you would just stop the clock, I'd love the game more. They're a bunch of Germans. Knock it off. Anyway, now that I've made everybody happy in Germany, do we have a section of town that has mostly Germans? Rox says, I can see her shoulders shaking. It's never good. We'll be right back with Ernie. Stay with us. All right, now let us check the timeline. Here's what happened back in 2012. Here was the PRI headline. Let the games begin. This was the first guy to say I'm running for governor in 2014. This is May 2012. You know, I was chiding him for being early. That was a joke. Almonte abandons the governor campaign to run for Rhode Island treasurer. That was May 2013. Well, he's not done shaking it up. Now Ernie Almonte is running for treasurer as an independent. That was last week. And now, there are the pictures. Notice the subtlety. Can anybody in the audience notice the subtlety difference between the let me see if Ernie knows. Do you know what the difference is?
I don't have blue in the background.
You don't have blue.
Yeah.
You know that Jess and Rock showed me that picture, and they said, you know there's a difference? I went, what difference? I'm sitting there staring at her going, I don't know what the hell the difference is. It's that you are now an independent, and you don't have the blue. Traitor. What happened?
Well, as you know, it's absolutely true that as far as I'm concerned, I'd be a better politician and I'd be better at giving a stump speech if I had 20 years of my career running for office. My 35 years experience are in government finance and audits. That's my background. And when you want to serve the people in the political forum, I try to figure out the best way to fit into that forum. But unlike my opponent, Frank, it has the political dynasty that helps them figure out how to say it and how to deliver a speech and how to do this. For me, I'm trying to figure it out on my own. I just want to serve 1 million people in the state of Rhode Island so that they understand that I'm going to take my education and my experience to help all of them. I figure this is the best way I can open myself up to all the voters to decide to vote for me for treasurer. That's why.
Meaning you were getting thumped in the polls and you knew you couldn't win the primary.
Well, we knew in the beginning that I probably wouldn't get the Democratic endorsement. I mean, as soon as the head of the party is the brother of one of the candidates, I knew then I probably was going to get the Democratic endorsement. It was always.
I'm not talking about the endorsement. I'm talking about the polls.
Well, the polls. I think for the most part, people knew me. The people that knew me as an auditor and in government finance. I wasn't out there politically. So again, you go to Frank, he's got a political dynasty family. You go to Seth, also comes from a political family dynasty. I was just an average guy with a financial education that wants to do the right thing for the state. It's hard to get everyone to know your name.
But you came here, so let's follow the bouncing ball. You came in to this cycle of politics saying you want to be the governor. I remember saying, Ernie, you're a pretty smart financial guy. Why don't you, and you're like, oh, no, and then all of a sudden, yeah, you're right. I never suggested you get out of the Democratic thing, but maybe others did. Was this your idea? Someone came to you and said, hey, this is the way you bypass the whole thing? I mean, look, it ain't rocket science. I mean, right now, if the election were held today, you would not win the primary, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so you leave the party, which you have pledged allegiance to in the past, talking about being a true Democrat and all that. So how's that all line up?
Well, we have to remember, I spent 15 years as the Auditor General, unaffiliated, in order to do my job, because I put my position above my personal rights to make sure I wasn't in any party, so that people knew those audits would be unbiased, non-political, and fact-based. So to me, it was natural. And remember, I always talked about my business cards. One of my core values is independence. It has always been, even my whole life. I've been independent and picked whoever the right person was for the job. So all of that played a role in my decision. And really what happened, it was my wife and I just sitting down and say, I've been very successful in my life making my own decisions. And to me, I want to be the treasurer for all 1 million citizens, the Democrats, the Republicans, everybody.
Why didn't that dawn on you at the beginning of this?
Well, in the beginning when I was running, I just wanted to help the people. Like I said, I didn't have political experience. I had the financial experience, and I wanted to help. And so I figured by originally just running for governor, say, I know I could help the state get it together. But then I realized you either have to be wealthy or an incumbent or part of, the inside, and I wasn't. So I tried to find the right place to put me in to help the whole 1 million citizens. That's why I came to that conclusion.
So let me see if I follow this. You registered Democrat when in your life?
I was unaffiliated.
All through your Auditor General
role?
role?
All 15 years, because to me, I didn't want anybody saying you did an audit and you went light on them because we're in your same party. So I gave all of that up to make sure my profession came first. So this kind of was a natural transition to go in to do it.
Well, guess who wants to adopt him? The Republicans. We'll talk about that, maybe have actual financial conversation of some kind before we're done here. Stay with us. Originally, you were going to run for governor.
Yes,
and
I
then you
was.
switched out of that. And you told me, looked me square in the eye and said, I'm running for governor. And then you
Absolutely.
switched. So
When I said I was running for governor, I went around the state and everyone, because I'm a certified public accountant, everyone kept saying, you should be the treasurer, you should do this. And so I heard them, I listened to the message, and I do understand right now, we have incredible candidates that are running for governor. I can work with any one of them. So I found a place where I could help the state of Rhode Island, help all the citizens, and it's in the treasurer's office.
all right. So, you know what? Hey, listen, life's not only about making hard decisions and staying with them. Sometimes you got to be a little versatile. The truth of the matter is that you weren't going to get elected in the Democratic primary. You now have bought yourself running as an independent another 3 months to get out there. Let Caprio and Seth Magaziner kind of do their thing, and then you'll have a one-on-one. Deft, as long as your party loyalty thing doesn't. See, Ken Block's running as a Republican because it's utility. You're running as an independent because it's utility, right? I mean, you say it is benevolent for the people because you want to serve the people, but it's a political utility move, and we'll see how it goes. What do you got, your papers there? Ernie was thinking I might sign his papers today. You know what? Let me think about that. You're running around getting signatures. Is that
Yes,
what you're doing?
I'm in the process of getting the signatures. And
Jess, you're a Massachusetts resident. You can't. Rox, do you want to sign a?
well, please, if
Did
you consider.
Hunsinger sign it at least? I mean, your new hire, public relations hire?
I haven't asked her yet.
Yeah,
but,
well,
But if you'd
she's probably still
consider it,
traumatized from all the time she spent with Chafee up there at the State House. But anyway.
but please consider signing it because it wouldn't be endorsing me.
No,
it
I
just gives you 5 more months
I
to
don't think
take
I've
shots
ever,
at me.
I don't think I've ever signed anybody's papers anywhere because I didn't want to look like I was whatever. But you know what? I'll support the process. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that. Republicans, Mark Zaccario was here last night. I don't know if this was on the show or before the show or whatever, but he said, I said, you don't even have a candidate for treasurer. He goes, we've got our candidate for treasurer. It's Ernie Almonte. You were up with the Republicans the other day trying to get their support. Tell me about that.
Well, the thing is for me, 15 years as the Auditor General, everyone knows in that job, I treated everyone with respect. Whether you were a Democrat, a Republican, a freshman, or leadership, you had access to me. I would meet with people 7 in the morning, Sundays. To me, I've always been that way my whole life. I treat everyone with the same respect every single day. And they know that. I've been called into almost all 39 cities and towns to help them with financial problems, whether we're Democrat or Republican, and always treated them with respect and helped solve their problems. This is a technical job, and I have the technical skills to do this. My opponents have interesting backgrounds, but they're not relevant to the job. My background is totally relevant to being a treasurer.
All right, so give me the number one financial piece that everyone needs to be thinking about when it comes to the Treasury decision in election 2014.
Well, the first thing is remember that this position is a technical position, and the person that's in there should have the education and experience to do the job. The number one problem is the pension problem, making sure that the money is there for the retirees and you reduce the burden on the overall state. The other thing is to make sure money is spent appropriately, and you have an independent watchdog that's watching over it. Well, I've already proven that as 15 years as the Auditor General. And the last piece is, as a national chairman of financial literacy, I'm going to bring programs to the state to provide tools for the citizens to take control of their financial life, which will make them better at work and better at their jobs because they can handle their finances.
I think it's a good answer. Did you see that Raimondo's got a hedge fund investment with investors in mass casinos? What did you think about that?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, when I become the treasurer, I'll review every single investment and every single contract, and all my decisions will be based upon the appropriate investments for the pension. That's number one, is making sure that
Performance or philosophy or both?
performance, number one.
Not philosophy.
Not philosophy. To me, a pension plan is not a place to stop playing with philosophy over return on money, because we made a promise to give people their pensions and reduce the cost of the state.
So you don't have a problem.
Allow me to do my job.
If that fund is performing, it's fine as far as you're concerned.
That's correct.
All right. So now you can come here as an independent versus the Democratic winner and have a little debate. And listen, Let me know if you change the status of the situation one more time. You know, you got 4 months. Good to see you, brother.
Great to see you
Ernie
as well.
Almonte, ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen.
Thanks.
There's always something. Your state of mind next. Kind of feel guilty I didn't sign Ernie's paperwork. Anyway, your state of mind. This is how you get in touch with us. 228-1886. Give us a call. This voicemail was kind of funny. All on the Cianci saga. Give a listen.
One rotten apple
what's the time on this?
spoils the whole bunch, Buddy Cianci. Listen to some of his quotes. Look at the way he ran Providence and look at the people that were behind him.
All right. Well, the guy sounds very ominous, doesn't he? Let us know what you think as well. All right. Tomorrow night, Ed Commissioner Deborah Gist shall be here. And, of course, we'll see you on the radio at noontime until 3 on WPRO. Am I short? Yes, I have 10 seconds. Get Ernie back. I'll sign his papers. I feel so guilty. That's the first time he's taken a slow walk to the end of the show. You have a great night. Germans, not Americans, Germans.